All right, let's now shift our attention to what is happening in Ukraine, where Ukraine's rebel leaders in the Donetsk region have now announced a general mobilization. And this comes after the leaders in the separatist region announced that they were evacuating residents to Russia, citing intensified mortar shelling by the Ukrainian forces. Now, these are the latest visuals that are coming in, and that show people from the front lines being moved back to safer locations, people queuing up to get into buses and cars so that they can be evacuated outside of Donetsk and closer to the Russian border. Now, the queue of cars and buses stretched for almost about 22 kilometers towards the border checkpoint in Russia from the Donetsk region. And Russia has said that refugee camps will be set up near the border for people arriving from separatist areas. A loud warning siren was also sounded in the center of the city. Soon after the announcement of the evacuation, observers from the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe reported a significant rise in the number of attacks along the front lines in Eastern Europe. So these, of course, are the latest visuals that have come in from Donetsk. Remember, this of course, is the rebel-held region in eastern Ukraine, along with another region called Luhansk. And these together are known as the Donbas region, where fighting has been ongoing for the last 8 years. On Friday, the separatist leaders had said that a parked jeep was blown up near a government building in Donetsk. The Ukrainian officials have said that this was clearly a staged attack that was designed to stoke tensions. In fact, Ukraine's top security officials have accused Russia on Friday of staging provocations to get Ukraine's military to respond. Now, the Russian President Vladimir Putin has also said that the situation is very volatile and is also deteriorating in eastern Ukraine. Putin has accused Ukraine of human rights violations against the Russian ethnic minorities in eastern Ukraine and has urged authorities in Kiev to enter into negotiations with the separatist leaders. As pandemic waves swept through India, there were questions that were asked on why India was not introducing foreign vaccines, especially at a time when India was in the grip of the Delta variant of the COVID-19 infection. And now, for the very first time, India's health ministry has clarified on this issue. Now, according to the health ministry, Moderna and Pfizer reportedly had started negotiating with India way back in November 2020. When the country was still reeling under the impact of the first wave of COVID-19 infections. So there was a long period of time between the first and the second wave of COVID-19 infections for the country to, of course, prepare. But what is interesting is this. In the negotiations between the Indian government and Pfizer and Moderna, the two companies had put forth some rather harsh terms in exchange for their support, basically to supply vaccines to India, with both Moderna and Pfizer demanding indemnity for their vaccines. Now, the Indian government, however, wanted the foreign companies to manufacture vaccines for Indians within India. And this, apparently, according to Pfizer and Moderna, was simply not acceptable. Now, in an exclusive chat with WION's editor-in-chief Sudhir Chaudhary, Niti Aayog's member VK Paul has said that foreign companies were not in the mood to bring in the vaccines in India before June 2021.
बाहर वाली तीन मेन कंपनीज चल रही थी। शुरुआत से ही उनसे हमने डायलॉग रखा था। सबसे पहले हम ये कहते थे कि आप आइए और बनाइए। हमारे R&D हमारी लैब्स के साथ काम करिए, उस पॉइंट पे 0 पॉइंट मान लीजिए ना, अभी तो सिर्फ बात हो रही है।
मेड इन इंडिया
हम जोर से कहते थे, कॉन्फिडेंस से कहते थे हमारे R&D के साथ जुड़ो, और उससे भी ज्यादा जोर से कहते थे देश में बनाओ, हम सब करेंगे आपके साथ मिलकर। सरकार की तरफ से आपको आह्वान है, निमंत्रण है। तो जवाब मिलता था जुलाई 21 में हम इस बात को करेंगे। अच्छा, नहीं अभी हमारे प्लान ऐसा नहीं है, नहीं हम देखते हैं।
वो सिर्फ बेचने में इंटरेस्टेड थे।
हाँ, क्लियर। लेकिन एक्सेप्शन, J&J ने कहा हम देश में बनाएंगे, और काफी अर्ली कहा, और क्वाड के रूप में बनाएंगे। ये भी स्टैंड चला हुआ है, बोलना नहीं है पूरी स्टोरी में। अब जिनकी आप बात कर रहे हैं, एक कंपनी ने कहा कि वो डोनेशन से आएगा यूएस का, कंडीशन है कि इंडेमिफिकेशन होनी चाहिए, हमारी कंपनी, हमारा ये, हमारा कॉन्ट्रैक्टर, हमारा वो वाला का, उसको सब माफ होगा, यहाँ कुछ जो नतीजा निकलेगा, और इमरजेंसी यूज है तो सरकार को पेश करना है। सुन लिया। दूसरी कंपनी जो उनसे बहुत बड़ी है, उन्होंने कहा कि ये सब तो चाहिए ही, हमें सॉवरन इम्यूनिटी वेवर चाहिए। ठीक है, अब ये चीज जो है, ये कोई भी देश ऐसे नहीं इस चीज को लिख सकता। तो सुनते गए, नेगोशिएट करते गए, कहा कि और रास्ते निकालते हैं, लेकिन इन दो चीजों पे हमारा एग्रीमेंट नहीं हो सका। उसके ऊपर सेंटिमेंटैलिटी है सर, और उसके ऊपर फैक्ट है, और हमारी स्वाभिमान है इसमें। और डोज क्या दे रहे थे ये भी सुन लीजिए। जो बड़ी कंपनी है वो कह रही थी हम 50 मिलियन देंगे, 5 करोड़, जो कि 2.5 करोड़ भी लगा दिया था एक दिन। जो वो डोनेशन वाले थे वो 70 लाख डोज की बात कर रहे थे, $7 वो तो मुफ्त में थी। दूसरी वाली जो 50 वाली थी वो $7 की थी, वो भी देख लीजिए। और तीसरा जो जॉनसन से लगा था, उन्होंने इम्यूनिटी, सॉवरेन इम्यूनिटी वेवर नहीं मांगा था, इंडेमिनिटी मांगी थी। सबको लगा कि ये कंडीशंस जो हैं हमारे देश के लिए ठीक नहीं है, और इसलिए वो नेगोशिएशन फिर पहुंच नहीं पाए, कंक्लूड नहीं हो पाए। तो लेकिन इनविटेशन टू मेक इन इंडिया, इनविटेशन टू कोलैबोरेट विद आवर साइंटिस्ट, इनविटेशन टू बी रीजनेबल इन सेलिंग, ऐसा तो नहीं है कि उनके प्रोडक्ट यहां बिक नहीं रहे, वहां तो ये नहीं लिखा जाता। तो इसमें करते गए, लेकिन जहां फिर अपनी उपलब्धता बढ़ी, कॉन्फिडेंस आया और डिलीवर किया, तो ये इसके पीछे की सोचा, ऐसा नहीं था कि उनके लिए कोई दरवाजा बंद किया गया।
All right, so this is for the very first time that a member from the Niti Aayog has, of course, come forth and made his stand very clear. And also what is interesting is that the foreign manufacturing companies, according to the Indian government, where it has been said that the foreign manufacturing companies could come and work in India, but they have to abide by India's terms and conditions to make the vaccines available for the Indian people. Listen in to what India's Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia has had to say on this issue.
दुनिया की कंपनी आके बिजनेस करे, वी हैव नो ऑब्जेक्शन, हमें कोई उसमें दिक्कत नहीं, लेकिन हमारी शर्त इंडिया की होगी। ये न्यू इंडिया है, ये पुराना इंडिया नहीं है कि जिसमें दुनिया में वैक्सीन रिसर्च होता था, हम उसके सामने लाइन में खड़े रहते थे, 10 साल के बाद वहां उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट कम हो जाती थी, बाद में इंडिया को मिलते थे।
Now remember, India has always been a pharma manufacturing giant. Anyone, anywhere in the world gets a vaccine, it's quite possible that it may have been manufactured in India. And India, of course, upped its game as the COVID crisis continued. We started manufacturing a huge number of vaccines that were essentially made in India. And now, as things stand, the country is fully vaccinated, almost about 80% of all adults. And the authorities have also managed to vaccinate almost about 20 million adolescents, that is, children in the age group of 15 to 18 years old. And we've managed to do this without any help from any foreign nation, because after all, remember, India for several decades, not just in the last 7 or 8 years, but for several decades, has been a pharma manufacturing hub of the world. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.